Okay, joining us now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. He drives the number 88 National Guard and American Salute, Diet Mountain Dew, Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Dale's coming to Daytona International Speedway, a place he's had great success over his career. And Dale, talk about coming back to Daytona, racing at Daytona. We're about at the midpoint of the season, and your thoughts about running here in this Coke Zero 400.
Just looking forward to it. Track, just got paid recently, and every time you come back, you kind of anticipate how the track's going to change. It should be changing quite rapidly, and or at least I hope it is. Getting slicker and slicker with each time we come back. The color of the track itself has definitely lightened up quite a bit. It seems like every time we come back, it's quite a big change. So that's great for the drivers, great for the fans, and I think it'll be a good race. You know, they made some good changes here last winter to shorten the spoiler and take a lot of grip out of the car, and then get us away from tandem drafting by closing up the grills and making putting the grills in a different spot. So that to me made a better race, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. Glad to be here.
Okay, let's go. Ed Hinton has the first question. Go ahead, Ed.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Dale, February here, you take on a two-car Roush tag team and really mix it up with them. And then you go to Talladega, y'all miss a setup or something. Is it running as well as you did here in February? Did the Talladega take a little wind out of your plate racing sales, or did it just not matter at all when you come back here?
Yeah, I don't really remember what happened at Talladega, but I feel like with the team I'm with, I don't really worry too much about it. I feel like every time we're gonna come to Daytona and Talladega, it really comes down to the driver making the right choices and doing the right thing in the race. Our cars should be good enough to compete and good enough to compete up front, and they were in Daytona. I imagine the reason why I don't remember Talladega is because I probably didn't do something right. So.
I think you indicated after the race was over that your car just wasn't right.
Yeah.
Because you had so much enthusiasm going into the race that weekend, and then you came out just sort of deflated and indicated the car just was not right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too worried about it for this weekend. I feel like we've been talking already this week about what cal we need to run and things we need to try before we feel ready to wrap up practice, because you don't really practice a whole lot for these races, but we know we got a couple things. We don't feel like we're as strong as we want to be, so we're definitely going to do some things and try to make sure we don't leave any stone unturned during practice today. So, but I feel good. I mean, I'm looking forward to the race. I love running here and love coming here, and I feel like the car should be plenty good enough as long as I can just do everything right in the race.
Let's go back over here now to Marty. Oh, I'm sorry, Nate, and then Marty.
Nate Ryan, USA Day. Dale, Danica Patrick ran really well here in this race a year ago. She ran well in speed weeks at times as well. How would you handicap her chances in your car tomorrow night? Do you feel like this is maybe her best chance at a victory in her first full season nationwide?
She's got a good chance. The car should be pretty strong. Tony Jr.'s really good at putting a car together that'll run well at Daytona, and so she's got to feel pretty good about the equipment. I think the guy that Hendrick Motorsports has done a great job on the engines this year, and every time I've drove the cars have been really, really solid. So she, I'm looking forward to, one of my guys trying to get a win. We haven't had, a win in a good while, and we certainly are due as a company, and I know Danica would love to get a win. So I think it's good. Yeah, she's got a good shot.
Let's go over here to Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. At the end of the race last weekend, you said you're not going to be as patient this time in waiting for another victory. So that then made me wonder how victory felt to you this time around after a long drought, as opposed to how it felt when you were winning more.
When you're winning consistently, you feel like all 8 cylinders are hitting. I mean, you feel like that everything's working the way it's supposed to. You don't really, you feel like you're accomplishing what you're supposed to do. You're going out and doing the job that you get up in the morning to do, and it feels, you're celebrating, and there's a lot of great things happening, a lot of smiling and happy people, but you just feel like that things are what they are supposed to be. And when when you go 20 races and 30 races and then 50 and then 70 and then 100, you feel like there's, something not quite right, or what, there's a missing piece, or, there's a broken, cog in a wheel somewhere that's keeping you out of victory lane. And you get impatient. I mean, you want to get frustrated, and but you gotta, you can't do that, because you gotta keep a good attitude for the people around you. You can't get a real bad attitude and get childish about it, and because you're guys on your team, everybody's working as hard as they can work to go to the racetrack every week. Every team in the garage just grinding away as hard as they can go. But I mean, just when you're winning, I remember back in, a couple years in the Cup Series and in the Nationwide Series, when we was winning, in Nationwide Series we was winning quite a bit. But you just felt, back then it felt like it was all a dream. We was winning so much. I just didn't expect to win that many races in the first 2 years in that series, and then we came into the Cup and won. And then I got into the series after 4 or 5 years and had a couple good years where we'd string a few together, and you just felt like you were the best team in the garage. You felt like everything was going like it's supposed to be. That's what you want to be when you show up. You're here every week. You think you're the best. You want to be the best, and when you're not winning, you wonder what piece is missing.
Jeff.
Zoned out. I'm Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. Sorry, I was working on something else.
Yep.
I was wondering about last week. Everybody was talking about the sway bars affecting you, and I know you had said that you didn't think that they were going to affect you, but other people were. I mean, Keselowski was saying it's going to be a major difference, and Harvick had mentioned you specifically. To get through that race, and it seemed like the Hendrick cars still performed pretty well. Do you feel like you answered some of those questions for yourself or others? And what did you make of the people speculating that was going to be something that knocked you down a few notches?
Well, we felt pretty confident about our cars all year, and we've been running pretty good since the year started. So I didn't feel like that rule change to me was quite insignificant to every other variable on the car that we're that we're confident in. I think that in my personal opinion, it was a bit of a magnified view of one small part of a huge working machine that we have at our grasp. Our whole team, I feel like that Steve has not just that tiny piece of the car figured out. We've got a lot of other things going in the right direction that have helped us run good all year long. And one thing that's one rule that gets changed that apparently only affects our cars just sounds crazy. I know that we get. I think it credits us for being smart. It credits our company for being intelligent. But we aren't the only ones out there with rear sway bars, and we aren't the only ones out there that know how to use them. So maybe those other guys are pretty smart for playing dumb. But the change wasn't going to make a big difference. We've been running good all year long, and I feel like that, we wouldn't miss a beat. I really didn't feel any concern over the rule change whatsoever. And I know it got a lot of guys excited that they were, and Brad ended up going and winning that race. But I think that we're still a good team and a strong team. I feel like that, the second to last run in that race, we were super fast. And I know Jimmy was quick all night long. And for whatever reason, which it happens sometimes, it's happened to me a lot of times, that last run on our tires, we were just really loose. And Jimmy about wrecked his car a couple times, and I about wrecked a couple times. And but we ended up all running pretty well and finishing pretty well. So I felt like at the end of that, I felt like in the first practice and then in the second practice, we made our statement. I thought the race was an afterthought. I felt like just how the speed we had in the first two practices on Friday should have been a good answer.
Final question. I'm told he needs to get out to the race car. Bob?
Bob Hockers, Sporting News. In trying to decide who to work with at the end of the race, do you lean more towards friends and people you trust, or whoever your car has worked with the best during the race?
Yeah, well, I don't know. A lot of times, it's hard to say. I've won races working with my teammate before, and I've won races being the most selfish guy out there. I mean, it just depends on what you need to do and what's happening, who's around and what's happening. I mean, if you got an opportunity at the end of the race on one of the last restarts to get with your, if your teammate happens to be the guy that you're working with, that's the best case scenario, because we've seen that work a lot of times here where Matt pushed Reagan to win. The Dodges of Penske with Kurt and Newman teamed up and won some races. Me and Michael in the DEI days won a lot of races. So, I mean, that's a great scenario because you can trust each other. Neither one of you is going to do something that's going to ruin it for the whole company. So between the two of you, you got to find one of you's got to find a victory lane, and that's the best scenario. But at the end of the race, you really kind of got to, if that doesn't look like that's going to happen, or that's not an option, or not going to materialize for you, you need to really just be as selfish as you can be, and just be the biggest jerk you can be out there. And yeah, it's what it's got to be. If you want to get the victory lane, you ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna do it by expecting favors. You just have to go out there and take it from people, and kind of, if you can get the victory lane, you don't have to worry about having somebody tell you that was stupid. So that's how. I mean, it just and it's tough because that's not my mentality. That's not really. I don't think of myself as a jerk. So, but you kind of got to be one if you want to win at the end of these races. More times than not.
Well, Dale, thanks a lot, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.